Thank you very much, Dr. Gaurav Shah, for giving this opportunity yet again. This is the third time I'm fortunate to present this topic, and this time with some picture from the anterior segment side also. I would like to acknowledge the support of Dr. Raju, Dr. John Davis, and Dr. Avinash Pathangi in guiding the projects which I have been doing. I have no financial interest in any of the products mentioned, including the product designed by Dr. Raju and I, because they are all on a do-it-yourself concept, which we want everyone else to try it out and modify it according to their needs and requirements. This is a do-it-yourself slit lamp adapter designed by Dr. Raju a couple of years ago, and the concept is simple. You need to put a smartphone on, mount it onto the eyepiece of the slit lamp, and this is just a usual pipe reducer what you get. So depending on your diameter of the slit lamp eyepiece, you could go ahead and get a comfortable dia pipe or something which can adapt to that, and you can paste it on a back cover, keep the phone on that back cover and mount it. Just to show you some pictures, the quality of which we can take with this. This is a patient with an iridectomy. You can see the iris, the fibrils here, and also the changes of pseudo-exploration neatly documented with this technique. There is a congenital cataract and retro-illumination. There is a feathering of the posterior capsular area in a gas-filled eye. And this is Candida endophthalmitis. You can see the budding nature of the organism in a pseudophakic eye. This is a kissing choroidal. You can see the ora serrata here, and in this side also this is the ora serrata. It has bulked up so much. And when we look at the wound, you can see that the anterior lip and the posterior lip are here, and between that we have the haptic. So that is keeping the wound open, and there's a wound leak leading to hypertony and the sequelae to significant hypertony. This is hyperorion or inverse hyperorion, siliconoid globules. Some of them are covered with pigments. This is again a silicon oil filled eye with a subluxated lens. You can see the oil droplets on the lens. Stereo photography is something which you can also do with slit lamp to get anterior segment stereo photographs. Now, if you look at these pictures, I don't know whether you will be able to fuse them in this in a cross-eye view. You will be able to see the vitreous collapse with some pigmentation in the anterior, floating in the anterior chamber, actually, and it looks like a nebula in space. One can also do a retinal evaluation biomicroscopic technique with a 78 or a 90D. This is one with a myopic eye to show the myopic vitreous degeneration. You can see the vitreous fibers. And there's a horseshoe tear in the periphery, which I have done a barrage laser. You can see the barrage laser. This is the horseshoe tear. So even the peripheral pictures in a cooperative patient with a good dilated eye and a myopropy, you can reach up to the periphery with this technique. When you compare this technique with conventional anterior segment systems, it's almost comparable. And I am tempted to say that probably the smartphones are looking better in this photograph, which was published by Chan et al. We have, as Dr. Shushmita said, different modalities, different ways to mount your slit lamp. Our own Dr. Jaitra has designed a good system for anterior as well as the posterior segment with a holder for the non-contact lens, and it takes very good pictures. And Dr. Rohit Modi has designed a global slit lamp adapter which can adapt to various slit lamps, because these eyepieces are not standardized for each slit lamp. So you have different diameters, but he has thought of it and made a wonderful adapter which you can adapt to any slit lamp you have. That concludes the part on slit lamp photography. Now I come into something which I have been doing for the last few years on fundus documentation. And you know the reason why we are looking at fundus, the smartphone, when we have excellent fundus cameras, because of the connectivity and the portability. And it works on the monocular indirect ophthalmoscopic principle, wherein the camera sensor picks up the image which are focused by the condensing lens. And last year we published our findings on how best you can get good images with this technique by using touch focus and zoom. For me, the driving force was this in retinopathy prematurity, the interest I have both personally and professionally in this disease, when we used to screen long time ago, I used to carry an indirect with the digital video camera. That was the first digital video indirect ophthalmoscopic imaging, which I introduced in 2006. But the thing was very cumbersome and costly, so I had to leave it without taking it further. Till this technique came up, and I must say these are probably the first stereoscopic images taken in retinopathy prematurity. And this was taken with this humble technique of a lens and a smartphone. And you can see the quality of the images. RedCam cannot take this details because RedCam is a wide angle imaging system. It's not designed to take detailed fundus pictures like this. So this is something which is a great advantage with this humble technique. With that background, we went ahead and designed something called the do-it-yourself retinal camera adapter for the smartphone. I call it the direct cam. With basic concept of a do-it-yourself. You have to do it yourself with the commonly available tools, and it should be easy to make, and moreover it should be cost effective. And when we looked at it, apart from the smartphone, the cover and the 20D lens, the other materials which go into making this device will be just about 72 rupees. It is a $1 do-it-yourself camera. And it adapts to most phones. It can be used as a handheld device, it can be used as a slit lamp mounted device, and moreover it is portable. And these are the materials used. You can see that there is nothing that you have not seen in your life. These are all very common things available next door from a hardware shop. You can buy them. The tools what I use are very simple tools, no mechanical tools required. And this is the way it is done. You have a smartphone hard back cover onto which a pipe reducer is stuck on the glue. And there is an optical tube that's just a 50 mm pipe, and that you wind some amount of insulation tape to fit a 20 diopter lens, and it fits well. And this optical tube can be mounted onto the reducer. The phone is kept inside the back cover, and you have your handheld device ready. You can also make a slit lamp mount, just like the way I said, with common materials. And the slit lamp mount you would have seen in the stalls, there you can mount it onto the slot for the focusing rod on the slit lamp, and then you can focus the whole thing or align the system just like you would do in a conventional fundus camera using the joystick. With some color, paint and some creativity unleashed, you can make it look like a professional device. And with a couple of magnets and a holder, you can take apart the optical tube, fix it. You can even put a 20D on the case, and the whole thing fits into your pocket. So it becomes a very ultra portable thing, and which you want to assemble when you want to start doing the photography. Just to show you how I do it, there are different ways you can. There are no set things like you should do it only this way. But this is the way I am comfortable being a retinal person. I like to hold the condensing lens, and that's the way I am doing this technique. I am holding the condensing lens. And you can also do, so that makes your other hand free for indirect ophthalmoscopy with a scleral depression. So you can go up to the fast planner with this technique. And this is the way you mount it on the slit lamp, and you can take pictures by touch focus and capturing it on the phone itself. This becomes a little more stable thing because you are having a support, and whereas the handheld you need a little more learning curve. There are a couple of videos taken by Dr. Raju with the 28 diopter lens on an iPhone. You can see the venous pulsations here if you look carefully, and there's a venous loop here. And there is a manual focusing mode in one of the apps called Camera Plus, and you can see that being demonstrated here. Focusing is done manually, and you get a good quality picture with. You can see the vitreous hemorrhage when the eye moves. You can see actually the dynamic changes that happens in the eye. Now, scleral depression, this is something which a normal fundus camera cannot reach up to. Even ultrawide imaging can't reach up to the pars plana. But this technique can. This is you can see a subclinical retinal detachment here, and there's an atrophic hold. When you look here, that is the pars plana, and that's all of the retina. So you are able to reach up to that area with this technique. And your images can be edited on the phone itself using Adobe Photoshop Express, which is freely downloadable, or if you want premium features, you may probably have to pay for it. And the images are cropped, rotated, and these central reflexes, which are common with the technique what we use, these two central reflexes can be removed using a blemish removal tool. And every fundus imaging software has a black mask which comes on it to make it look impressive. You can apply that black mask on the Photoshop itself, and when you look at this image, it is indistinguishable from that taken from a conventional camera. It looks just like that, just like a normal fundus picture taken with a camera. And you can take stereo pictures, as I told you earlier also. These are stereos of Buddha's RD. If you look at it carefully, you can and fuse it, you can see that the depth perception will give you the appearance of the Buddha's RD standing much ahead of the posterior retina. And the Hubble technique can take you up to the path plan. And when I say path plan, it is path plan because these are path plan assists. You can see the stereo pictures, and these are the this is one way you can take stereo pictures of the far periphery, and that is an area which even the ultraviolet imaging can't take you. So that has some role in ROT also, and other set of stereo pictures showing popcorn lesions. And if you are able to fuse it, you will see these popcorns actually floating in the vitreous, and this is actually the mount of my depressor. So these pictures, you can't get this quality with a red cam. You may get a larger field, yes, that's a very good screening tool, but if you want to look at details, you need techniques like this. Just to go through some of the images here, you can, this is cystoid macular edema. You can see the flower petal appearance here. You can see the changes of cystoid macular edema here. And AMD, you can see some fine striae due to the exudative component here, the submacular hemorrhage. And disc photographs, glaucomatous cupping, morning glory. And if you look at this area, this margin is blurred. This is a resolving optic neuritis. And this is again a fundus periphery showing 3 horseshoe tears. The ora serrata is here, and the path plan is beyond this area. So you can go up to that area again. This is a patient with combined rhegmatogenous and traction retinal detachment. And I have taken a montage from the superior retina to the inferior. So all the way from up to down, you can image with this device. And this is the retinal break, the traction component of the combined retinal detachment. And peripheral lesions again, horseshoe tears. You can see the vitreous attachment to the anterior flap. Some pigmented areas are also seen. The other horseshoe tears again. We are also trying to bring out a non-contact screening tool for ROT with a wide-angle system. And if you look at it, this is a picture taken with the 20 diopter lens, and this is a picture taken with the wide-angle system optics we are using now. And if you look at it, this line represents the zone 1, end of zone 1. So it is going somewhere in the quarter or halfway through to the zone 2. But we need to improve the field to make it more acceptable. And last year I showed how I took the retina photograph of my own eye, and all of you diagnosed that I have a PED. So this time it's time for an annual review of my retina. So this time I did it with a direct cam, but this time the difference was that I screen mirrored the device onto a television and monitored the image with the other eye on the television and took my pictures. And this is the way the screen mirroring is done. This is on the TV, and this is my retina on the phone. I am sitting here. I am not touching the phone, and that is the image on the TV. And I am monitoring and aligning the picture there. And I can also take pictures with Bluetooth trigger. So that is what is being done. I am taking the pictures. I am not touching the camera. I am able to take reasonably good pictures. And that is a fundus photograph of my eye. And you can see that PED is still there, not worsened. So this is a good quality fundus photograph of my own eye taken by me. So this probably has a role in teleophthalmology later, as I told you last time also. Maybe in the future we will have selfies coming in from a diabetic patient, and you will be evaluating it and telling the stage of changes, whether he needs management or not. That would be the future. And I am happy to say that these pictures are taken by Dr. Ram Mohan Rao, vitreoretinal surgeon, a teacher, and a person who was one of the inventors of biome actually. And he received the device just 2 days ago, and these are the first images he took with it within a day's time. And I have not edited it except for putting the black mask, and these are pretty good for a person who has just got the device on a handheld basis. So I'm thankful to Dr. Ram Mohan Rao for all the good support and advices he gave. And this should be the most inspiring paper for all of us, because for half a century we are using this technique by Novotny and Alvis, and these are the hand-drawn diagrams of the emission and absorption curves of sodium fluorescein. So can we do fluorescein angiography or angioscopy on a smartphone? That was the next thing we had to think of. And if you can see, this eye has astrohyalosis, dense astrohyalosis. And this is the smartphone attachment. And Soto et al. Showed that you can do it, but they did a handheld method. And they were not able to do the early phase angioscopy. Because when these two filters come in place, you see nothing. So you don't know whether you are focused on the nose of the patient or on the eye of the patient. So I had to devise a method to remove the filter and put it back without altering the focus. So that is what we did. And with a simple arrangement, this is the astrohyalosis again. It's a dense astrohyalosis. The dye is injected and you're waiting. Suddenly you see we are all tense. At that time you see the dye coming in. You can see the arterial phase, you can see the venous phase filling in, you can see the neovascularization, the disc coming up, you can see the capillary non-perfusion, macular ischemia, and as you wait and see, you see the dye fluorescing more and more in the neovascularization on the disc, and we have the first angioscopy. And this is the astrohyalosis pre-injection photograph, and this is the photograph with the NVD, capillary non-perfusion, and the findings in the dye. We went ahead and did furthermore angiograms, and this is an eye with cataract. You can see that it's not very clear, and the angiogram was done, and it's not as clear as last time, but you can see the dye coming in the angioscopy. And when you ask the patient to look up, there's a large area of capillary non-perfusion here. There's a neovascularization seen at the edge of the avascular and the vascular retina. This was an interesting patient. He came with macular edema and was treated elsewhere many times with Avastin. But when I looked at the macula, I knew that it was not a macular problem. It could be something in the periphery. He had received macular laser also. And we did the angiogram on the visual cam also, but couldn't get up to the area of interest in the periphery. So this is the eye. You can see the stippling coming in. CME is there. But I made him lie down and did a scleral depression and an angiography of the far periphery. And you can see that then I found out there is a straightening of vessels, there is a large area of avascular retina, the mid-peripheral abnormalities here, and neovascularization in the periphery. This is when he is supine, he is lying down, and I am doing a scleral depression, and there's a systolic macular edema. And that is the area. You can see my depressor coming in here. You can see my depressor coming in, that's avascular zone. And there are areas of neovascularization in the periphery. It is not an easy technique, believe me, it's very tough. And what we saw was pars plana was hyperfluorescent in that neovascularization. I will show you the pars plana in a moment. It was hyperfluorescent. There is no report on what the pars plana looks like in the angiography, because nobody has done it. So in this picture, in the next frame you will see that's the pars plana. That's the pars plana is uniformly hyperfluorescent. I don't know whether it is a pathology in that eye only, or it is going to be that because of the absence of retina. And we will have to do more studies to find out whether it works that way. That is about my device and whatever I have done. It will be good if you know about the Myrat Cam. Is supposed to come out he has already launched it. Dr. Ashish is working on it. And this is a review what Dr. Shushmita was talking about. They have come out with a non-metriatic camera, which is going to be a good thing. And these two cameras have an app, so that makes it more easy for you to manage your database. So to conclude, it's a cost-effective way, despite the fact that we have fundus cameras. This is a cost-effective way of documenting the fundus. It has a role in teleophthalmology and for your personal, see if you're traveling from one center to another. It has a learning curve. Don't think that the first patient you're going to get pictures. It will take a while to get used to it, but you have to keep at it. Thank you very much for your